And Yashambal's note taker otter and Levi's note taker otter. You guys are always there. Hope you watch these things. Um, Gotta keep clicking little things here. Anyway, for whatever reason, I cannot get my webcam to work, and it's not off. I'm not sure what's going on. Boy, Alicia's in Savannah, Georgia today. See, you travel everywhere, Alicia. Um, I've got some fun stuff today we'll talk about, and certainly we'll love to talk about anything that you all might have. Um, Lots of new topics today related to um, different thoughts and ideas about climate change. And it seems to be getting more diverse all the time in terms of the thoughts about it. And Mark, are you hearing me fine? Mark is in Bangladesh. I
Yes.
am somewhere off the coast of British Columbia and specifically Vancouver Island. And I'm able to look on a flat screen that I have in the room here and see um, that different images of the ship that I'm on and where we're at in this voyage. And we left last Friday. Let's see, we our flight was very early in the morning from Boise to Seattle, and we then took a bus provided by the cruise line, which is Celebrity Cruise, um, and we are on a ship called the Edge. Why don't I show you a little bit about that? Let me just share my screen here, just a second. This one will work. Let's try this. So are you seeing my screen mark where it says DuckDuckGo?
Yes. See the
So
yeah.
just what,
No, we see your screen fine. Yep.
you know, I knew how to spell, I'd be in great shape. Celebrity Edge cruise ship. So I'll show you what my cruise ship looks like. Here is some images of it.
Wow. Yeah, that's
There's one, and here's another one from the opposite side. It's got this little dock thing that looks like one of its boats, the lifeboats that are on the side of it, but it's not. It actually will move up and down. I believe our room is, well, let's go back to this first one. Our room is right either this one. Let's see if I can blow this up. There we go. Let's see if I can even make it bigger. Yeah. All right. believe this is our room right here. It's one of these first ones because we have this deck that's just right outside of the room. And we are on the 6th level. And the 6th level is right above this deck thing. And up on top, if you look at the view from above, there's two big swimming pools. And each one of them have hot tubs by them. There's a running track that's just under a quarter-mile long that goes up, and this right here is part of it going down the hill where my cursor is, down this runway here. And this is part of it up here, and it kind of winds around. These are the motors for the ship. And so we left Seattle at 4 o'clock on Friday, and we were out at sea all day Saturday. And then Sunday morning, we reached Ketchikan, and I'll show some images of Ketchikan in a minute. Let's go back and even look at a little different view of this ship. By the way, they get all kinds of really high ratings for green. The diesel engines power, diesel fuel power electric engines. And this ship is 7 years old, so it's relatively new. And it's the first of this, what they call the X class. And the letter X, which you can see on the back end of the ship here, comes from the last name of the family that founded the Celebrity Cruise Lines, which are Greek. So it's a letter in the Greek alphabet. From the rear of the boat, the stern, up to the front, the bow here is about the same distance as the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. There are about 1,200 staff, people on board to help serve the guests, and 3,300 guests. So just a little less than a 3-to-1 ratio of guests to, or a little more than a 3-to-1 ratio of guests to staff, which is amazing. And the staff are very, very helpful and very easy and nice to deal with. So anyway, we left last Friday. We cruised north up to Ketchikan, and we got into port at Ketchikan in the morning on Sunday, and we were in port all day in Ketchikan on Sunday. And then we cruised through the night up to Juneau on Monday, and we were in port for most of the day. And again, then we cruised through the night from Juneau to Skagway, which was as far north as we got. I'll show a map in a minute. And then we left. So that was Wednesday. We cruised all day. We've been cruising all day today. Excuse me, I missed a day. That was Tuesday. We cruised all day Wednesday, and now we've been cruising all day today. And tonight we'll be in Victoria, Canada. And then we stay overnight there and then get into Seattle at about 8 o'clock in the morning. They're very close to each other, Victoria, and so I'll show a map, which has, I go backwards here on this search that I did. There's again the edge. There's really no pictures that I have of the top of it, so you can see sort of the here. No, here's one. Oh, this is actually the company's website. So there's the edge with one of the outdoors big swimming pools. There's another indoor one right under here. All the restaurants, or most of them, are up on the 14th floor, which is up here. You know, I have it backwards. This is one of the pools back here, and then there's this one up here. It does not have a court outside. It has a big gym, a big spa, all those kinds of things. Lots of meeting rooms down in the bottom layers. So now let's look up. Let's look up at the map. Ketchikan. It's just showing the bottom. Shows it so here's all three of the places that we went: Ketchikan, Juneau, and Skagway. Um, oh, here we go. Make it bigger. Oh, that made it too big, and now it's not showing the part of the state I wanted. So again, we came from farther south. This map's not showing it. This is probably another island, not Vancouver Island, but up to Ketchikan. And then we went up what's called the Inner Passage here up to Juneau. And then back down around because there's no way out up here, back here and up to Skagway, and then back down and actually out to sea and down this way. And now we're somewhere down at the bottom of this image out here. Yeah, no, there is Vancouver Island still farther south. One of the tours that we did, they said that if you go straight east from here, from even as farther south at Ketchikan, you don't hit anything. There's not a city. It's just wide open land all the way to Europe. So around the world in that way. I'm going to actually pull up Google Maps and be able to look at it on it. Oh, shoot, there we go, there's Ketchikan. So we did a walking tour of Ketchikan and did not take a ship excursion, which some people did. Um, and it's an old time city. It's called the salmon capital of the world, which just means a lot of salmon fish will come up out of the ocean and up this inner passageway and then spawn in rivers. There is the Ketchikan River that flows through the town, and there's a large cannery where they can different kinds of ocean products, the sea, the salmon, and also crabs and other kinds of animals that you get out of the ocean. So now let's zoom out. So we started down here in Seattle. People think about Seattle as being on the coast, and it's not. It actually is surrounded by, again, the inland passage. It is seawater, but the docks are, I think you'll even be able to see them right on here. Yeah, right here in this photo there. It looks like there's two ships here. Those are both cruise ships. So these are huge docks, as you can see. Yeah, these are two different cruise ships. Don't think either one of these is the edge. And just to zoom back out a little bit, this is very close to downtown Seattle. And then right all along here are big companies you've heard of. Expedia, which you've probably done some things. Amazon has got their headquarters along here. Microsoft. What's the coffee? Why is my brain going dead?
Nescafe.
No.
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Starbucks headquarters is here somewhere, right near this cruise ship docks. And then downtown Seattle is right. Quite there yet. Right here. Right here. And that's where Pike Street Market is, which has got gets a lot of publicity. The original Starbucks restaurant is on one of these streets right along the coast. And I've done webinars from here, Mark. This is one that when the World Aquaculture has had its meetings here. So again, when you're at water here. You'd think this is the ocean because that's what it looks like, but it's not. It's really inland. Seattle's sort of surrounded by this huge lake, which is Lake Washington. And this is a interstate, Interstate 90, that goes a big bridge across Lake Washington. So now zooming out, our ship was right there, and we went out here, followed up this inland passageway. And I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing we went this way on this side of this island. That out in the more in the ocean, although I think there are still some other islands out this way. Yeah, yes, there are, because here's Victoria. Here's where we're going to go to tonight. So the cruise probably went out here. We went right by Victoria out this way and followed along the edge of Vancouver Island. Let's zoom out a little bit more, because this is all one big island right here. We followed along this. So this was day one, Friday, and then all of day two, Saturday. And then we went into this Haida area up to Ketchikan right here, which I showed before. Then we came back down because that's kind of a dead end at Ketchikan, around this Prince of Wales Island and up to Juneau, which too far. So Juneau is still down here. The largest national forest in the United States is Tongass National Forest, which Ketchikan is on an island that it is on. So Juneau is the third largest city in Alaska, and it has 30,000 people. So it just shows you how tiny it is, really. Um, Only Anchorage and Fairbanks are larger. And you can see it starts to get, these are glaciers, big, that's year-round snow and ice on mountains. I don't know why we're missing Juneau here. So anyway, then we were there for those 2 different days. And we had a very unusual thing happen in Juneau. We had a thunderstorm come through in the middle of the afternoon. Some people said we got hit by a tornado. Winds in like a 2 minute period went from just, a little breezy at 8, 10 miles per hour up to 70, 69 miles an hour. And it actually broke the lines holding the ship to its dock, which the captain says he's never gone through anything like that before. And we ended up drifting out into the bay at Juneau. And fortunately, we didn't hit another one of the ships because there was another one out there. I'm not finding Juneau here. sketch a can. It can't be that far up here. Anyway, kind of a trip of a lifetime. Don't probably ever plan to do this again. It's been a great trip and learned a lot about the people, a lot of great, history of the Native American tribes up here going back a century, or not a century, 10 centuries, 1,000 years back. Because all these different islands had different tribes on them. And they all seemed to get along pretty well, which was interesting. The only power that can come in is from either hydroelectric power or oil that they bring in to fire up generators. So, and the weather was gorgeous for us, other than that one little wind issue that we had. It rained a little bit then, but otherwise it's just been beautiful. It's overcast, but still very nice. Water gets very deep very quickly, literally right offshore of this island, which is what we went by. We went by out this far out where my cursor is 2,000 meters, so over 6,000 feet outside of Hippa and Chati and Callison. All these sort of either names of explorers like Sewell or Moresby, or Native American names like Callison and Coyote and a bunch of others. So if anybody has any questions about this cruise and tours and such, I can address those. Otherwise, I did a Grok search today, which is one of the AI providers that is a competitor to ChatGPT. And pull it up because I said, give me a list of the top 20 environmental stories in the world today. And it went through all this telling me how it did it. And then here were the top 20. The first one was that AI innovations may reduce carbon emissions in cement production, which is an interesting one. And I believe I've got the references here so I can look at that up. Most of the research that it did came from ENN, Environmental News Network. Environmental News Network has been around for 30 years or maybe even a little more. It was founded by, and here it is showing it, founded by my ex-partner, Will Miller. And when he was developing it, he would run his ideas by myself and Russ Biagni, because we were all three living in the southern Idaho area at that time. So it was founded somewhere in the 85 time frame. Anyway, this is just usually puts on its front page what the top stories of the current time. So here's the one that it was talking about is AI paves the way towards green cement. You'll notice this looks a lot like our blog articles because we sort of copied this format, having then in the same industry, environmental and ecological. So the cement industry produces 8% of global CO2 emissions, more than the entire aviation sector does. Um, and it says here that researchers at the Paul Scherrer Institute have developed an AI-based model that helps to accelerate the discovery of new cement formulations that could yield same material quality with a better carbon footprint. And the reason that the cement industry has a high one is that these rotary kilns that are used to make cement get heated up to a ridiculously hot temperature, 1400 degrees Celsius. Um, and they burn ground limestone down into the clinker, which is the raw material that's left that's used to make cement. So that's the reason that it can be so high in CO2 production, because it's a it's literally just a solidified form of carbon. Not sure what AI is doing to help make this a more energy efficient industry, the production of cement. Yes, it's related to improving the time frame for experiments. Cement formulations are very diverse. Everybody kind of claims that they've got a better one than somebody else. So, Mark, I'll stop here for a second. Do you see any other comments or questions that I ought to focus on?
I see a bunch of links from Alicia and a comment. She says it's a floating hotel. Okay. And Robert says looks good. So yeah, they're talking about Celebrity Cruise. Other than that, nothing else.
So, this is something that you might want to try to use as a resource sometimes, which is ENN, Environmental News Network.
Right.
And when it talks about, I'm curious if we did a grok search. Doing the prompt, which is who is the founder of ENN, Environmental News Network. I'm using Grok 3. Well, it's putting a lot of information down to tell me who the founder was. It's not specifically indicated, and that's true. Will sort of intentionally kept it pretty broad. Simon Gosling is mentioned. I don't even know who that is. I thought this is what it might say. It doesn't really give anybody who's the founder. Jason Soul. I'm going to put in, how about what was Will Miller's role? Thinking a lot. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it's not finding Will. By the way, I'm going to have a hard stop today at 4 because one of the things I did today, and I can show a picture of this, is I bought a piece of artwork that is somewhere here. Get to it here in a second. By this fellow, Patrick McManus, and it is a picture of a wolf. And it isn't any of these, it's another one of his. It's not an original. He's a relatively young artist in terms of his fame because he's well known and he's probably 50. Um, Usually you don't even hear about artists until after they're dead. So, um, but he's gained some fame while still alive and still actively painting. Um, there was one other thing that I wanted to show you real quick. Make sure to throw in any questions that either anyone in the audience has, Mark. The other thing that's going on in my world right now is the National Amateur Retriever Championships. And this is their blog. I'm refreshing it because it's ongoing and dogs that I know are running in it. And unfortunately, this is one that I'm rooting for, and she just ran and she picked up. That meant it's not good. That means she didn't complete it. And so she's done. And that's unfortunate because she's had been doing really well. But this particular series is very hard, and you'll see lots of dogs that are either handled, that's what that means. That means somebody they've done something wrong and they had to be corrected and helped, um, or they were picked up. This is an ex-national champion here, um, and he's now out. The guy had counted in this particular, there's 49 dogs left, and this started with 106 total. It started on Saturday. And so it ran Saturday, or did it start Sunday? Either Saturday or Sunday. And it's now in the seventh different test that's been done. Um, and it's being held in Mondovi, Wisconsin, which is just across the river, Mississippi River from Minnesota. So very close to Minnesota, sort of north central Wisconsin. See, let's go back to those environmental. Searches on Grok. Top 20 issues of today. Oh, I did the search about Will Miller and Environmental News Network. I need to go back to my history. And here's kind of a sad article. It says that a Swedish town that had high levels of PFAS. Let's see if I can find out. And let's see if we can find the Swedish town. So Google and DuckDuckGo both use different versions of AI for assistance. Town with the world's worst case of PFAS. Small Swedish town of Kalinga. And they believe that it's coming from fire suppressant film that's used at a nearby Air Force base. Yeah, it's firefighting foam from the Air Force base. Here's a timeline on PFAS. First PFAS developed in the 1930s. I don't think they know that. So PFAS is used in all kinds of things, many that would have been earlier than the 1930s. Teflon has it in it. Almost all different kinds of clothing, fabrics that have any kind of water um, penetration stopping coverings is it got PFAS in them at very high levels. There's been lawsuits now, 2016. Kalinga, Sweden. First found in 2013. All right, Mark, what do we have for any other? Because I'm pretty much out of topics today.
Okay. No, we don't have any questions from the audience.
Looks like a beautiful area up there in Sweden. All right, well, everybody have a great week. I'll be back in the Boise area, be able to do this from the comfort of my studio there. And we'll find some other great environmental and ecological things to talk about. Everybody